Have you ever wondered why some people manage to build gigantic fortunes while others spend their entire lives struggling to make ends meet? Is it luck? Is it fate? The truth is that there is a set of choices and behaviors that separates the rich from the poor. And the scariest thing, often without realizing it, we are repeating habits that keep us away from wealth. Imagine this. You're in a labyrinth. On one side, a bright exit where financial freedom awaits you. On the other, a path full of traps and obstacles that never lead anywhere. The difference between the rich and the poor lies in the choices made in this labyrinth. Those who understand the rules walk away with treasures. Those who don't are trapped. Now, I need to tell you something that could change your life. Get it straight. What you do today could define where you are in 5, 10, or even 20 years' time. The differences we're going to explore aren't just curiosities, they're a wake-up call. Because if you keep doing these things, you could be digging yourself into a hole while others are building wealth. And to help you, I'm going to share 6 differences between people who build wealth and those who never leave the same place. Get ready, because it may be uncomfortable, but it's essential for changing your story. After all, the choice is yours. Stay in the maze or learn the way out. Let's get started. 1. Rich people prefer to be discreet. Imagine this. You're walking down the street and you see someone in an amazing sports car with designer clothes and a flashy watch. Your immediate reaction might be, wow, that person must be a millionaire. But is he really? Not always. Often these people are just trying to look rich, spending more than they can afford to maintain an image. This need to show off often hides a delicate financial reality. Now think of someone like Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world. He drives an ordinary car, has lived in the same house for decades, and rarely shows off his wealth. What does this teach us? That true wealth is silent and doesn't need a spotlight. Truly wealthy people understand that discretion is a great asset. Avoiding drawing unnecessary attention protects your security, reduces the chances of being the target of scams or crimes, and helps maintain peace of mind. In addition, discretion builds genuine relationships. Really wealthy people prefer to be liked for who they are, not for what they have. This creates deeper and longer-lasting connections, which often lead to even greater opportunities in the future. Another benefit of being discreet is the freedom to focus on what really matters: investments and long-term goals. Imagine someone who spends a lot of money to maintain a luxurious lifestyle just to impress others. This person is constantly under pressure, worried about keeping up appearances. In contrast, someone who lives discreetly is able to invest quietly, build their wealth in silence, and reap the rewards later. On the other hand, those who grew up with few resources often feel an enormous desire to show they've won. Buying an expensive car, designer clothes, or going on a luxurious trip seems like the ideal way to demonstrate success. But the reality can be quite different. Many end up spending more than they earn, getting into debt, and becoming trapped in a destructive financial cycle. A classic example is people who win the lottery. They have a great urge to spend everything quickly, buying mansions, cars, and luxury objects. Within a few years, without financial planning, they are back to square one. Have you ever heard the phrase, "Quiet money is smart money"? True wealth is built away from the spotlight, with strategic and consistent decisions. Being discreet is not just a lifestyle choice, it's a powerful strategy to protect your security, your mental health, and your financial future. So before you spend to impress others, ask yourself, is this really going to help me build the life I want? Or is it just an attempt to gain temporary approval? If you want to build solid, sustainable wealth, remember that the least flashy path is often the most effective. Tell me something. What did you think of this first difference? If you like it, you'll like the last one even more. So leave your comment. I'm a prosperous person, and let's move on. 2. Money makes more money. Have you ever heard the expression, money calls money? It couldn't be more true. Imagine that your money is like a seed. When you plant that seed in the right soil and water it consistently, it grows and bears fruit. That's exactly how money works when you save and invest intelligently. Wealthy people understand this fundamental principle and therefore set aside part of what they earn for investments. These investments become a powerful machine, capable of generating more money over time. Let's make this more concrete with a practical example. Let's say you invest $500 and get a 10% return in a year. That's a profit of $50. Doesn't sound like much. Now imagine investing $500,000 under the same conditions. The profit would be $50,000. That's the power of compound interest. A snowball effect where profits generate more profits, turning small savings into big fortunes over the years. It's as if the money is working for you relentlessly while you focus on other areas of your life. Another important point is that having money invested acts as a real shield against unforeseen events. Imagine two people. One has $10,000 saved and the other has $500,000. If both face an emergency costing $5,000, the first loses 50% of their assets, while the second barely feels the impact, having lost only 1%. This is not just about money, but also about peace of mind. Those who have a robust reserve can face unexpected situations without compromising their lifestyle or their goals. Now, you may be thinking, but I don't have much money to invest. The good news is that it doesn't matter. The key is to start, even with small amounts. Every penny you save today can turn into hundreds or even thousands of dollars in the future. Think of a person who started by investing just $100 a month at the age of 30. With discipline and good investments, they can retire at 60 with a surprising amount of wealth. And it's not just about numbers, it's about creating the habit of thinking like a rich person. Don't worry about how much you can invest now. Worry about creating the consistency of investing regularly. One step at a time is all you need to transform your financial life. Remember that money is a powerful tool, but it only works in your favor if you know how to use it. The best time to start investing was yesterday. The second best time is now. 3. Rich people know where every penny goes. Have you ever had the feeling of looking at your bank statement at the end of the month and thinking, where did all my money go? Many people live exactly like this, month after month, without ever being clear about where they spend it. This is one of the biggest financial mistakes there is. Rich people, on the other hand, do the opposite. They know exactly where every penny is going. This awareness is no coincidence. It's a habit cultivated with discipline. Imagine this. A successful entrepreneur reviews his spending on a weekly basis. He knows where he is saving, where he might be overspending, and most importantly, where he should invest to achieve his goals. This doesn't mean being stingy or obsessive, but rather having total control over your finances. Wealthy people treat money as a limited resource that needs to be managed wisely, because they know that waste can mean missed opportunities in the future. One method that many wealthy people use is the famous 50-30-20 rule. In this approach, 50% of income is allocated to basic needs, such as housing, food, and essential bills. Another 30% goes towards desires, such as leisure, travel, and entertainment. And finally, 20% is set aside for savings and investments. This rule works as a simple but powerful guide to organizing your finances. Of course, it can and should be adapted to each person's reality. If your income isn't enough to cover your needs with 50%, you may need to adjust it to 70% for needs and reduce your desires to 20%. The important thing is to never stop saving, even if it's a small amount. Controlling your spending is much more than just numbers on paper. It's a way of avoiding common pitfalls such as social comparisons. Think of social media, where people show off luxurious vacations, new cars, and seemingly perfect lifestyles. Often, this makes you want to keep up, spending on things you don't need just to feel included. The problem is that more often than not, These displays are just a facade. True wealth lies not in spending, but in building something solid and lasting. Now imagine what it would be like to have absolute control of your finances. Knowing exactly where to cut spending, where to invest more, and how to make your money work for you. This is not only possible, it's essential for anyone who wants to have a healthy financial life and achieve their long-term dreams. Start small. Write down your daily expenses, review your monthly budget, and ask yourself before each purchase, is this really getting me closer to my goals? This simple habit can be the difference between living on autopilot and taking full control of your financial life. Now, I'm going to tell you something very important. If you've made it this far, it already shows that you're determined to change the reality of your financial life. So let's move on to the fourth difference between rich and poor. But first, subscribe to the channel and like the video. The next videos will help you achieve wealth faster than you think. Let's keep going. 4. Rich people buy assets, not liabilities. Now let's talk about something fundamental. Assets. Imagine you have money saved. What do you do with it? Do you leave it in savings, where interest barely exceeds inflation? Buy a new car that will fall in value as soon as it leaves the dealership? Or do you invest it in something that will generate more money for you in the future? Wealthy people always choose the latter option. They understand that the key to increasing wealth lies in acquiring assets, i.e., things that put money in your pocket, such as real estate that generates rent or shares in companies that pay dividends. These assets not only maintain their value over time, but also create continuous and sustainable income. Now compare that with what many people do. They spend most of their money on assets that don't generate a return. Owning houses, cars, and other consumer goods, for example, are considered financial liabilities. Why? Because they take money out of your pocket. A house can require high maintenance costs, renovations, or taxes. A car, in addition to depreciating rapidly, generates fuel, insurance, and repair costs. This doesn't mean you should never buy a house or a car. They can be necessary and, in some cases, even desirable. However, it is crucial to understand the difference between something that generates money, asset, and something that consumes money, liability. Wealthy people make this distinction early on. They look at money as a tool that can work for them. Imagine each asset you buy as a dedicated employee. It never complains, never takes a vacation, and is always generating money for you, month after month. A well-located property can bring in rental income. Shares in a solid company can pay regular dividends and still appreciate over time. These assets work like a financial growth machine, while liabilities drain your resources. Now, if you feel afraid of investing, know that this is completely normal. Many people are afraid to put their money into something that seems complex or risky. At first, savings may seem like the safest place, but the problem is that over time, it doesn't keep up with inflation, which means that your money loses purchasing power. It's like leaving your money idle while the cost of living rises. That's why it's so important to go one step further and learn about other forms of investment such as shares, real estate funds, and fixed income securities. If you're still unsure, start small. Read up on the financial market, try investing a token amount, and see how it works. The more you learn, the more confident you will feel. The important thing is to get started. Every dollar you invest in assets is another step towards financial independence. Remember, building wealth doesn't happen overnight, but with consistent and intelligent choices over time. Imagine a few years from now, you wake up and realize that while you were asleep, your money was working for you. That's what assets do. They turn time into an ally and ensure that, in the future, you have more freedom to live as you wish. So the next time you think about spending your money, ask yourself, will this put money in my pocket or take it out? This simple question could completely change the course of your financial life. 5. Delaying gratification is a superpower. Have you ever felt that irresistible urge to buy something on the spot without thinking? Whether it's an item on sale, a snack on the way home, or a new gadget that seems indispensable, we've all been there. The big difference is that wealthy people are able to resist these temptations. They know that delaying gratification can turn small amounts of money into big results in the future. Delaying gratification is like planting a tree. You give up the immediate shade to reap much bigger and sweeter fruit in the future. Think of the following example. Spending $10 every day on something seemingly harmless, like an expensive coffee or an impulse buy. It doesn't seem like much, right? But in a year, that adds up to more than $3,600. Now imagine investing that amount instead of spending it. With compound interest working in your favor, in 10 years, that amount could turn into a staggering sum. That's the power of time combined with financial planning. Wealthy people see every small saving as an opportunity for growth, while many see it as just an insignificant amount. Delaying gratification isn't just about money, it's about mindset. When you choose to wait, you are practicing discipline and focus on your bigger goals. Remember that each impulse purchase can represent a no for something much more significant in the future. Imagine, for example, someone who decides to save $2,000 by not changing their cell phone every year. Over time, this amount, if invested, could become the down payment on a property or part of an emergency reserve. A good practice for resisting temptation is to visualize the impact of your decisions in the future. Whenever you're about to spend on something superfluous, ask yourself, is this really going to help me achieve the goals I've set for myself? If the answer is no, stop and reflect. Think about how that money could be used to build something lasting, such as an investment that will bring a return or the realization of an important dream. Another effective trick is to turn no now into yes later. For example, if you're tempted to spend on a luxurious trip that could jeopardize your finances, remember that by saving and planning better, you'll be able to take that trip with peace of mind in the future. This isn't deprivation, it's prioritization. When you learn to say no to the present, you're saying yes to a much brighter future. Now visualize your life in 10, 20, or 30 years' time. Imagine the feeling of having money invested, earning and providing financial security. Every little choice you make today is building that reality. That's why delaying gratification isn't just a habit, it's a superpower. It helps you make smarter decisions, prioritize what really matters, and ensure that the future is much brighter than the present. So the next time you feel the urge to buy something on impulse, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this spending bringing me closer to or further away from the life I want to build? This simple act of reflection can completely change your relationship with money and time. Remember, the future is shaped by the choices you make today. 6. Never stop learning. Wealthy people have a simple but incredibly powerful habit. They are always learning. No matter how successful they are, continuous learning is part of their daily routine. Whether it's reading books, listening to podcasts, taking courses, or seeking advice from mentors, they never stop seeking knowledge. A striking example is Bill Gates, one of the busiest and most successful men in the world. Even so, he sets aside time to read dozens of books a year. Why does he do this? Because he knows that continuous education is one of the keys to success. Investing in knowledge is like investing in yourself. Think of it as a lever that can transform your life. The more you learn, the better prepared you are to make smart decisions, take advantage of opportunities, and even avoid pitfalls. Knowledge not only improves your ability to handle finances, but also expands your worldview, helping you to better understand people, markets, and even yourself. Education, whether formal or informal, is one of the most valuable assets you can have. Imagine the difference between two people, one who keeps learning and one who thinks they already know enough. The former is always up to date, discovering new ways to grow, while the latter remains stagnant, stuck in old, outdated ideas. The world is constantly changing. New technologies, markets, and trends emerge all the time. Those who don't keep up with these changes are left behind. Stopping learning is like putting your life on hold while the rest of the world continues to move forward. What's more, learning new things can open doors you didn't even know existed. A conversation with the right person, a book that changes your perspective, or a course that gives you a new skill can be the turning point in your career. Think about how successful people diversify their sources of learning. They don't just learn about finance, but also about psychology, leadership, innovation, and even art. This gives them a competitive edge and makes them more adaptable in an ever-changing world. To make learning more practical, try applying what you learn in everyday life. For example, if you read a book on personal finance, put a new saving or investment technique into practice. If you listen to a podcast on productivity, try reorganizing your routine with the tips you've learned. Action is what turns knowledge into results. Another valuable tip is to diversify your learning sources. Don't just stick to books or formal courses. Attend events, talk to people from different fields, and try out new challenges. Even a hobby can teach valuable lessons. For example, learning to play an instrument can improve your discipline and patience, qualities that are also useful when managing finances and pursuing goals. Finally, remember that the best investment you can make is in yourself. Everything you learn becomes part of your intellectual heritage, and no one can take it away from you. Continuing education is the basis of any significant change in life, and the return on this investment is infinite. Be curious, venture into new knowledge, and, above all, never stop learning. Financial and personal success is built on the choices you make today, and choosing to learn continuously is undoubtedly one of the smartest decisions you can make. So the next time you have the chance to read a new book, listen to a podcast, or attend a lecture, take advantage of it. You'll be planting seeds for a bright future full of possibilities. So what do you think of these 6 differences? Now you know that financial success is not about luck or magic, but about daily choices and habits. What matters is what you do with this information. After all, knowing without acting is like having a treasure map and never going out to get it. Stop for a moment and reflect. Are you on the right path, or are you repeating behaviors that keep you stuck? Every day that passes is a new chance to make better decisions. Don't be fooled by appearances, social media, or the fear of starting. Change starts small, but with consistency, it can completely transform your life. So my advice to you is simple. Stay alert, be strategic, and above all, never underestimate the power of small choices. The future you want is within your reach, but it's up to you to take the first step. Now tell me, are you ready to build your wealth? If so, comment, "I am prosperous" below, and start building your financial wealth now. Now on your screen is an incredible video that I have prepared especially for you who have watched this far. It will help you speed up the process of wealth in your life. Go and watch it now.